So, what should you include in your value proposition? This is the fun part. It's what makes you unique. What do you do, or what experience have you had, or what about you personally that qualifies you to be the person that should work with them on their particular quest? What is it about you? And you should really describe that. And that's where you get your personal interests and your expertise and all of those things that you've done the exercises to determine is now to communicate it. So how do you provide that to them? What does that look like? And if there are any resources that you incorporate while you're putting the solution in action for your client, this is the time to describe those. Maybe you have a team. Maybe on your team you have a tax professional, or maybe you have an estate planning attorney available for your clients, or something along the lines, resources that you use that is going to be beneficial to them. This is the time that you talk about why you're uniquely qualified to help them with their solution. And then make sure the client again understands how you deliver the solution to them. What are they going to receive? Remember, we need to have this tangible, because right now your values are intangible. So they need to understand what this is. What to include in your value proposition? This is what makes you unique. It's how do you provide it? What are you going to do that should make them want to work with you? And what are they going to experience during the process? What is your story? What is about you that is so attractive to the solution that they're trying to receive? That's what you want to emphasize in your value proposition. And then if there are any resources that you have that your client should know about that are on your team, like if you're offering a tax solution, maybe you have a tax attorney in your office. So this would be a good time to mention that this is a service that you provide your clients. Or maybe you have an estate planning attorney on your team. So these are things that are important when you're describing your value to your clients. And then how do you deliver your solution to the clients? What are they going to receive as a result of working with you? So the way that clients perceive value is going to be a little different than the way that you are going to describe it to them, because what they're doing is personalizing you. So they want to make sure that they feel that you're dependable, that you're accountable. So do you return phone calls right away? Did you deliver what you promised to them within the time frame that you promised? When they make an appointment, do you remind them about it? Things like that create the impression of dependability, and they want to see that with you. They want to see that with your team. And then chemistry. Do they believe that you really understand them? So again, this has to do with the way that you've connected and the way that you explain your values and your culture to them. Do they see themselves in you? And then empathy. Do they trust that you really care about them as a person? It's not just about selling them something. Are you not just interested in their financial goals, but maybe you ask about their family. Maybe you remember their pet's name. Maybe you know that they enjoy football and they follow a particular team, and so you ask them if they went to the game, or something about them that they told you that tells them you were listening. Those are ways that clients perceive value, that they feel like you really get them. They want to know competence too. So things that you do, whether it's blogs, whether it's newsletters, whether you're published as an author, any kind of way that you can be identified as a key influencer makes them feel like they should be working with you. And think about it, if you were going for a medical procedure and there's a renowned doctor, whether you've met this doctor or not, automatically, because he is renowned in his profession, you feel like that's the doctor that you really want treating you if you had a choice. Well, the same rationale applies in your client's mind. If there are things that you do that you're recognizable in a way, it's an added value to your client to recognize your competence that way. Now, the way that you communicate with your clients is important too. If they value face-to-face or telephone calls or emails, you want to ask that up front. What's the best way to communicate with you? How often do you want to be contacted? Some people hate emails in their email box and will never read them. Other people love the telephone. Other people want to be contacted in a way that fits their busy schedule. And the fact that you asked about that means you value them, and that's a perceived value to your clients. And clients will focus on cost if they fail to perceive your value. So you need to communicate that value, you need to demonstrate that value, and the client needs to feel like you are the best person to provide the solution to them. When you articulate your value, I know this is something that probably none of you do, but remember not to use jargon. You're not talking to another advisor or somebody on your team, and it's so easy to say RMD or something, an IRA, but maybe they do not know what it is and they don't want to embarrass themselves by asking you what it is. So avoid those kind of things, even if it seems like the most common use of a term that they certainly should know. Take the extra time to avoid the jargon and speak to them in layman terms, if you will, so that they understand what you're saying and they don't have to embarrass themselves to ask you to explain it. And be succinct. Use numerical framing, and by that I mean first we're going to do this, then second we're going to do this, then the next step is this. So for example, you've seen how you've listed your processes for them. Walking through those in order is going to help your client understand where they are in the process and about how long they expect to get to the solution that you have promised them. And then, of course, your value proposition. Remember that, again, your clients don't just deal with you if you're in an office environment. So you want to create something that your staff can also reiterate. Your clients need to be able to do it because you want your clients, if they really appreciate your service, to tell their friends about you. And when they describe what value you add to them, they should be able to say word for word what you do. So when you develop your value proposition, your team should be able to say it word for word, and your client should too. So in this lesson, you learned about the necessity of a value proposition. You learned how to create one. You know that the way clients perceive value is not necessarily the way that you've described it. and the way you articulate your value matters. Thank you.